Welcome to Namasoft ERP. In the last English video, you learned how to define colors and sizes for the items. You can access the upper link to view this facility. This video will explain how to define item assortments and deal with them in the system documents. The ability to define an infinite number of colors and sizes for any item helps you determine the item's assortment. Suppose that one of Namasoft's customers works as a shoe dealer. He can receive, issue, or transfer a shoe assortment. This assortment includes pairs of shoes like the following: 10 pairs of black shoes, size 42. 10 pairs of black shoes, size 42. 10 pairs of black shoes, size 43. 10 pairs of brown shoes, size 42. Rather than inserting the assortment items one by one, you can enter the assortment code of an entered item to include all the assortment items. This method will save a lot of time and effort. To define an assortment for an item, suppose this item is for men's shoes. Via the Size Color Collection screen, I have defined all colors and sizes of this item. And then I will define the assortment from this screen. Assume this code and these names. This is the field of the assortment unit. Say it is dozen. The disassemble unit field is the unit of each piece in this assortment. Say it is a pair of shoes. I will invoke the size color collection I have defined in this field. You may attach some other collections of up to 4 collections. In this table, you can insert the quantity of each type. Say there are 4 for each pair of shoes. This way, if you receive this assortment via a stock receipt document in a warehouse, the quantity of each pair will be 4. Through this option, cross-join item colors and sizes, you can define the assortment in another way. If you select this option, the assortment will contain all colors and sizes of the item. Let us have an example. If you save this record, the system will consider that this assortment contains all these sizes and colors, and from this field, you can define the quantity of each one. This methodology is more generic, as you can use this assortment with all items, and the system automatically will recognize the components of the assortment of each item. Enter the item and then the assortment code to use this assortment in a purchase invoice. Enter here the quantity of assortments. If you insert 1 in this field, the system will understand that the quantity of each pair of shoes is 4. This value will be distributed to all these types. Each pair of shoes will take the same cost. But you can define a cost percentage for each one. From this column, Cost Share, you can specify a share cost for each type in the assortment screen. I left this column blank, which means that the cost of the assortment will be distributed evenly among all types. That is because the cost does not change from one shoe to another. But in some cases, it must differ. For example, if the assortment contains bags, of course, the big bag will have much more cost than the small one. This idea aims to know the profit of each sold type. In this purchase invoice, I have configured the document term to generate a stock receipt document for all purchased items. The system generated one stock receipt document, but this document is listed in many lines to know that this document includes 9 types of shoes. Also, the system calculated the cost of each type. As I have mentioned, all pieces have the same cost. The last point in this video to be explained is to expand the assortment while inserting it into the document. Let us open a sales invoice. If we insert an assortment item, the system will allow the user to enter the information of the assortment item as a whole. But if I want to display all sizes in this assortment, for example, in any supply chain document, there is a grid in the supply chain configuration to determine the documents in which the system will expand. Let us determine the purchase invoice in this grid. If we enter this assortment item in the purchase invoice, as you see, the system expands all the included items in this assortment. Regardless of the assortment item, this is an excellent feature in the system, as you can define many items as an assortment and enable the expanding option to insert many items all at once when the user enters the assortment item that includes all these items.